In us right now. Listen, this. Oh, I don't think it came up yet. Okay, this guy's joining us right now. He needs no introduction anywhere in this civilized world, not one. He's got a show on 2 to 7. You probably don't know that. It's a good show. You should really check it out sometime.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't know what you're talking about. But joining us right now is the general himself, at Gavin Dawson on Twitter. Do we have you, Gavin?
Hey, how you doing, Walt? You got me?
Yeah, I got you. We're waiting for you to get on the screen there. Just come. Just
there he is. Oh,
salute.
What's up?
Mr. Dawson, how you doing today? First off,
Man, I'm doing great. It's been awesome listening to you guys show the breakdown. I love it, man. This has been highly entertaining. So I'm looking forward to trying to contribute here.
Yes. And I understand you just got back from Florida. Is that from a big cryptocurrency conference, right?
Yeah, it was Bitcoin 2021, and we killed it, of course. But man, Miami's an amazing place. I've never been out there. I didn't know, from the outside, I was like, what's all the Miami hype about? Great. It's a city in Florida. I figured what's special, but then I saw and I was impressed.
Well, I'm a little shocked. I'm a little hurt I didn't get to go. I'm Mr. South Beach, Even though I never been, I'm still Mr. South Beach, I had some ties to the city when the guy was out there in Miami.
I got you.
That's how that worked. I had some big ties out there.
But place to be connected.
Yeah, it's good.
Mr. Dawson, I just want to say this. I am I'm on your side over Walt's side. I'm ready for you to take him to the class, to school. I know he calls you were his mentor, so you're the teacher. School him up, please. Just
but
school
you're
him up.
already taking his side. You don't even know what
it
his side is.
It don't matter. I'm on Dawson's side right now.
What the stooge?
Right on. Let's tear him up.
What a stooge. What a stooge. Why don't you ask him what he's doing from 2 to 7 every day? It ain't listening to Gbag Nation. Like the rest of us. Gavin Dawson, there's a reason I got you here today, sir. There was a comment that led to this interview by you, and if I could quote, you said, I've made a comment about Mr. Porzingis and his play with the Mavericks, and you said, well, Walt, has he just been nice to you? And I was like, oh man, I was like, oh, that's a little harsh. And I also have another quote for you. You don't know this. I don't know if you're watching. Gavin Dawson also joined us after a Trailblazers game with me and Billy one night. And if I could quote him correctly, he said, KP looks like a guy who learned how to play basketball in his driveway.
Oh.
That was what he said.
Hold up.
That's what he said.
No, Walt, I think I said, was KP nice to you too?
Oh, yeah. Implying that I guess there's some other guys you work with who probably cape for him is like, oh, you guys are doing that because he was nice to you. That's why you're caping for him.
People I work with, people I don't work with. One thing I've noticed is he's very good at being professional and being nice to people. But a constant theme is following him wherever he goes, and that is, he's not a real integrated part of the team. Wherever it's been, there's been, reports that, hey, and we're not getting the most out of Porzingis, or maybe Porzingis isn't happy here. New York was willing to give up, on Porzingis for Dennis Smith Jr. and some first-round picks that would likely be in the back half of the first round, considering how Luka was already taking over the league. So I think the Mavericks are finding out what the Knicks knew, and that is he's injured. He's going to be high maintenance with his role, and he thinks he's a bigger star than he actually is.
Fact.
So, it's an unfortunate situation to be in. I can't blame the Mavs for going for it and trying to make it work with Porzingis, and maybe hanging on to him and trying to make the most of it is the best they're going to be able to do for a while. But there's no doubt that 2 years in, it's a complete fail of a personnel decision to make a trade for him.
We're here with Gavin Dawson, the General, and here on Best for Business on Dallas On Air. General, I got to ask you this question. Are all the positive, spins coming out with Donnie and Rick and everything, is this them just trying to get some trade value going back up? Because we already know it's dirt bottom. I don't think anybody would trade for him now, but do you think that all the positive talk right now is just trying to get some kind of trade going in the offseason?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think you're honored, EA, that they have to protect his trade value, and if they can't trade him, then they have to be nice to him, because you don't want an angry Porzingis. Right now I think it's fairly neutral, and they've done a really good job managing it publicly to not put out any inkling of disrespect towards him, other than the trade rumors that went public. But yeah, Walt, I think what it comes down to is he's good at being nice to reporters, and I don't know what it is about his personality, but the people that's covering him, he sees the advantage in being very polite and accessible for us. And it's smart. I think more athletes should, but I don't think that you can confuse that with how he is, as a teammate and as the guy you want to depend on or give a maximum contract to.
Can I ask him a question?
Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Do you think that he's not an integrated part of the Mavericks because he's hurt so much and he literally cannot be? Is that what it is, or he just thinks he should be a bigger star than Luka?
Yeah, I just think it's some people's personalities to not be that social and not integrate with groups of people well, and have the good chemistry. And I think he's one of those types of people. Probably the injuries make it worse. That his lack of ability to his potential is the real problem.
Yeah.
And I think that really bothers him. But I don't think enough of, I don't know if character is the right word, or just the kind of person that he is to look inward as that's happening, and he's a disappointment. And I think, his anxiety about it just materializes in ways that comes off really selfish and doesn't connect with other guys on the team.
Yeah, because I would think he's getting paid, right? Because the narrative is he should just be the support for Luka. But I'm like, you're getting paid a lot of money to be that support. Why wouldn't you just do that and accept that role?
Counting chips, Lindsay? That's what you're doing?
I'm not counting chips. I'm just saying he's making a lot of money. So what's the problem? I mean, you don't have to be the star. Why can't you just be a supporting role to Luka? I don't understand.
In his pockets and counting his chips.
I'm just asking a question.
Very low for you. Very low.
I mean, you get into what I think is where the ego gets into sports right there, because at one point he was ascending to being a top 10 player, and he was celebrated in New York City as the superstar. And I think he loves that identity. And, I think reality doesn't match what's in his mind.
That makes a lot of sense.
So maybe he wants to go to a really bad team that needs him to shoot the ball 20 times a game. And then, he can score a really inefficient 25 points per game, and they'll miss the playoffs. But
wow, Walt.
I must say, Gavin Dawson, you're very good at what you do. You're very good at what you do, sir. Just a couple questions here.
As are you, sir. As are you.
Just a couple remarks here. The organization itself came out. Actually, Mark Cuban on your show came out and said that, he pretty much admitted that this was an organizational thing, that he's missing games. It's not him. It's more them deciding that he's not going to play games. Do I have that correctly, or was I reading that wrong when he said that?
No, he said that, and we'd heard that Porzingis wants to play more than he did.
Okay, and I'm going to get to this. I was going to get to this point too. When yesterday in the exit interviews, there was one word that I kept hearing from everybody, from Rick and Donnie and mostly all the people: COVID. This team thinks that COVID was the only problem last season. That's their main thing. Even when Cuban was on the show with you guys, his main thing was, it's a different season because of COVID. We feel like because of COVID, we can sit KP down. We have the room to do that this year. We have this, that. So, when I hear a guy like KP getting ripped apart, and I'm like, I think listening to Donnie and them yesterday, it feels like they know, this is kind of on us why people are perceiving him this way. That's what I took from Donnie's interview yesterday, when he was like, we got to find a way to get him involved. And Lucas said that yesterday too. Am I far off on that? I
don't know. So what's your question again?
So I'm just saying it's more, is that the organization is starting to feel like this is more on us, that people are starting to perceive KP this way with the comments they made yesterday.
I think they're trying to take the pressure off of him. They know that, putting him in a corner, I think, would be bad. But I think it's also possible that they try to trade him at the deadline, and it didn't work, and they know there's not going to be opportunities to move him that make sense for them. So I think they're also really preparing that writing out his contract in 2024 is a reality, and they have to do whatever it takes with him on board to try to make that work. And hopefully he's still young enough that he can have productive offensive years. But, you have a major problem with him and Luka on the floor. I don't know if you can become a good defensive team with both those guys on the floor at the same time.
Okay, so Porzingis to me is also feeling the effects of Seth Curry being gone because when Seth Curry was here, that was another floor spacer, and it opened the floor for KP to play back. Because last year, I think KP played his best basketball last season with the Mavericks before we left for COVID. And when you come back this season, I mean, I don't think the Mavericks really were that bad this season. I mean, they were bad at times, but to be where they are, I think that, as I said to somebody, the team is trending upward. They're not going down.
For sure.
They're trending upward. Even with KP missing games, the team is still going up. So I don't see the big fuss about wanting to really get rid of him. I mean, and it's just me.
I do.
When you do that. Oh, guys, is that him?
Mr. Dawson, we got to pause for 1 second.
Oh, you get to be a part of the very, very important part of the show right now.
This probably
never happened to you because walking in the studio right now is a gentleman who also needs no introduction. They love him. They talk God, sports, and porn over there on his Twitter account. He's at Tobosh10 on Twitter. Get over there.
Hey.
When you get a chance, Gavin, get over there and follow that account. I'm pretty sure he wants to come in here and poo-poo on Porzingis too for a minute. But
while he gets situated.
While he gets situated.
He always has, though.
Yeah, he always has.
Yeah.
While he gets situated, I just don't think that really getting rid of him right now is the answer because of where the Mavericks are right now.
I mean, he's got value. He obviously was part of the best pick and roll tandem in the NBA this year. Even though the Clippers just showed if you go small and you have pretty good defensive players, you can pretty much neutralize that pick and roll. So we'll see how much the league copies that defensive approach against the Mavericks that the Clippers deployed. But yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. You just have to make a set of great decisions, and you have to be able to use what draft picks you do have to make smart picks and actually hit, plenty of teams hit right around where they were and after with some pretty good players. So they got to make, moves for guys like Josh Richardson that actually work, and that falls on their scouts and their decision makers to make the most of it. The Spurs made a habit for years and it, built a dynasty after their star players. They, were quite resourceful in free agency and in the second round of the draft to find guys who could be real contributors. So, I think you look at the front office right now as who's going to be the big decision makers, because it's going to be hard to imagine getting a player back and trade for Porzingis that's better than he is.
Gavin, again, we're talking to Gavin Dawson, the general here on Best for Business on Dallas on Air. Gavin, who's more at fault here? Because this has become a new Twitter thing with the Mavericks fans, and they're all split on this. Is it Rick Carlisle? Is it or Donnie Nelson? Who is it more at fault here?
I think if you had to assign blame, you would say Donnie Nelson. For not. They went out and looked for defensive players, and everything they did backfired, and then they traded a couple of guys that might have helped them play defense for JJ Redick, who didn't help at all, didn't even want to be here. But he's painted in a weird corner right now. They had to give up all their draft picks to get Porzingis. It was a trade that, at the time maybe made sense. It was a bit of a gamble. And then, now it's not working out. So he has a vested interest in it working out. But, at the same time, I think his first go around at building a team around Luka, pretty much, stinks. It's cool that you have a coach like Rick Carlisle who can make a really good playoff team around it, that took the Clippers to 7, because once you take Luka out of the equation and you just look at those players on paper, they're really the worst out of the 8 and maybe worse than, teams 9, 10, 11, after the first player is eliminated from the evaluation.
That's what I've been saying, but apparently
don't do that. Don't do the front running like that. Don't do the front running like that.
I'm just saying that's what I've been saying.
No, you didn't. Well, go ahead, Bosh. Boy.
So, welcome to the show, Gavin. We appreciate you joining us.
Hey, buddy. Good to talk to you.
Same. All right. So, in a nutshell, we see the Mavericks We see the Mavericks pretty much have a good season. We see that the Clippers were supposed to be, the team to actually beat the Mavericks because they were the better team.
True.
2 superstars and, on and on and on and on. The Clippers actually built themselves for the playoffs. They
Build
really
themselves
did.
for the Lakers more.
Exactly.
Right.
So playoffs, right?
Right.
Being a Mavericks fan and just sitting back and going, hey, Rick didn't do what he's supposed to do. KP didn't do what he's supposed to do. The ownership, Mark and Donnie didn't do what they were supposed to do. How should a Mavericks fan, because I really think that they're not handling this well, but how should a Mavericks fan really look at this season in a microcosm?
They should look at it like a failed attempt at maximizing what Luka is, considering they have limited resources. Everything they committed to Porzingis, and then Dwight Powell, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Richardson contract, those potentially coming off the books. They'll have another attempt, but I think they should really look at it like a failed attempt to build the right kind of supporting cast around Luka. And hopefully they do better. They'll have a couple of more bites at the apple, and then they'll have to wait until 2024 before they, can get the kind of flexibility to try again. But yeah, it stinks, and then you start to look at the Dirk years, and they got the one championship, but they never really put a great supporting cast around him either, and in the end, it was really him being the best player by far as a real outlier among the championship teams of the era.
But why is that though? Like, just you're saying it's strictly financial, it's limited resources, that's why they can't build a cast around him. It's similar to like Tony Romo and Dak Prescott. That's the narrative. I'm not saying I believe that, but people say, they never went anywhere because they didn't have a cast. It's the same thing with the Mavericks. Is it just financial, or why is there this narrative?
I mean, you're right. They haven't made the most of their resources, but they haven't had the kind of resources that would enable them a great opportunity. They went all in on Porzingis and it failed. And, I think you should really hold them accountable for it though. At the same time, if you take out the pandemic affected games, they played with the winning percentage that would have put them around third in the West. So we should definitely be appreciative they made the decision to get Luka. Other than that, I don't know what they've done right.
I was also thinking about this part. You mentioned the pandemic, and I just thought about playing on campus in Mickey Land, and how generous that was to pretty much every score in the game, because playing in the small gym means better shooting, right? Right. And we did see the numbers go up last year because of that. Mm-hmm. And then getting back at out into the open range where guys their physical skills pretty much were illuminated and everybody saw it. I really don't think that the sky is falling when it comes to that, because I think that Luka showed the world, hey, I'm here. And I think that like guys like Giannis are on alert, Steph is on alert. LeBron's on alert. All these top 5 guys. Kawhi, you're on alert too, because if Luka had what you had, I think that if you put Luka on the Clippers, they're advancing. So I don't think the sky's falling when it comes to this this particular team. And I'm trying to talk guys like there's another guy on our show who goes by the name of Billy Sierra, who right now is not on the show because he's probably on 35 somewhere trying to jump off of it. But Like what
that was a joke, just FYI. Just FYI,
it might not be a joke.
I don't know. Billy did come up with some excuse about work. I don't know. He's not here.
Gosh, I want to stop you though, because the reason why these guys you're talking about feel that way is because look what happened with Dirk. He was a star player. They got 1 ring. It's going to be the same shit again.
Well, you know what? I would take that 1 ring if it's with Luka, and then on top of that. Like people really,
but Luka deserves way more than 1 ring.
I think that
here 3 years.
People really look at Dirk
in his career. I'm saying
people really look at Dirk as this god, right?
Yeah,
but when he was playing here, Dirk was considered a Robin. Dirk was considered soft. Dirk was considered clueless. Dirk needed help. Dirk was everything else but what he is today. And then of course Donnie Nelson, who we all attack right now, EA. Donnie Nelson pretty much helped build this team, Gavin. And I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to talk people down to say, hey, you know what? Let's just run it back, get better. Hell, you can even keep KP right now. I really don't care. I just want to run it back and show, and pretty much show the rest of the NBA that Luka and the Mavericks are not a first round team.
Really? I do want to bring this up with Mr. Dawson. I know you're a big time Rick Carlisle fan. That's where I really want to go with this interview. Big time Rick Carlisle fan, and that's where I was going to say, I guess he's been nice to you on the show, which is why you say nice things about him and prop him up the way you guys do. Rick Carlisle, I have somebody here on the chat here want to know, can we please ask him about Rick Carlisle not winning a playoff series in over a decade? Could you address that, please, sir?
Well,
that's somebody on Facebook too.
I've been a fan of Rick Carlisle for like 3 decades.
Okay.
He was an assistant on the Trailblazers
when
Rick Adelman was the head coach in the early 90s. And
went to the Pacers.
He's a legend in Portland. Everybody wanted him to be the head coach of the Trailblazers. So I've always had a great respect for Rick Carlisle. But yeah, they made a huge mistake as an organization to, try to hang on to the legend of Dirk Nowitzki. I guess it was more important to have him play out the rest of his career with them than start a rebuild. I don't know why Dirk wouldn't have liked the idea of tanking and having the opportunity to draft a guy like Luka or Giannis while he was still playing. Why it was so important to try to have the 22nd overall pick or something and maybe win a playoff series. It was just stupid, And that's, what ultimately cost them the opportunity to get the kind of talent that wins playoff series. And now you still have the residue of tanking and horrible decisions like, giving Dwight Powell a contract because, you liked his toughness and you thought he was a great pick and roll player with your analytics.
Over Julius Randle.
Right, and Julius Randle's not good enough still. So, I don't know. Some of the personnel decisions they've made have been really interesting. I don't really like any of their draft picks other than Luka. So, but really up until very recently, it was, I think, the result of, not giving up on the Dirk thing, and not being willing to rebuild.
Now, I'm gonna shock you with this, okay? Hold yourself, stand your ground on this one. For as much times as I've said it, I don't think now is the time to fire Rick Carlisle.
Which is very weird coming from you.
Okay, I just alluded to it a few minutes ago. I said the team is going in a direction. They're going up, okay? If you fire Rick Carlisle, you will set the organization back at least 2 or 3 years, and we don't want that right now. The team is going up. Rick Carlisle, he's going to have to put his big boy pants on. Luke and KP are going to have to put their big boy pants on. They all going to have to get in the room and figure it out. Is what's going to have to happen.
So do you give all the credit to Luka for being as good as they are? You don't give any of the credit to Rick for.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you know this. We call him Step Back Jack on our post game show. So Step Back Jack, do I give him a lot of credit? Just a few minutes ago, before you came on, I was talking about what Donnie said, and I agree with Donnie. And I've been critical of Luka for that during the season. When you're hot and you're scoring 33 points, or whatever, I'm fine with that. But you got to keep your other team involved. You got to make sure Porzingis is getting his touches. You got to make sure Hardaway Jr. is getting his touches because those are rhythm guys. If they're not in rhythm, when you go cold like you do in the fourth quarter and missing free throws and stuff, those guys, when they in rhythm, they able to make it up for you. In game, 2? He got Hardaway in rhythm. Hardaway was on fire because he got him in rhythm. That's all you got to do. And that's all I'm critical of Luka every time. I enjoy Step Back Jack. I love it. But I needed to come within the flow of the basketball game.
And I'll say this before you answer, Gavin. The only reason why I disagree with that statement is because I think in Luka's head is that when I'm looking at my teammates right now, knowing that as inconsistent as they are,
correct,
I can't trust them. So I don't blame Luka going full hero mode and going Step Back Jack when I don't know if I can trust Katy Perry / Tim Hardaway Jr. When he's hot and cold 24/7.
I would say Porzingis is more hot and cold.
Wow, you called him in Katy Perry. Wow. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Gavin.
I mean, hey, if you look at this whole situation and you find a way to blame Luka for what just transpired, hey, more power to you, I guess. But,
I did not blame Luka. I just said he's what Donnie said. He's got to get his team. He's got to keep his teammates involved.
You're listening to Donnie, who's kind of at fault here too.
You know, those guys touch the ball plenty. They do. Tim Hardaway Jr. shot the 3 9 times in Game 7. You know, they got to make shots. I think Luka has a point guard mentality. He's going to look for the guys that are hot. You know, he doesn't need to have it pointed out to him like he's a jack or two guard. He's a guy that looks for teammates, and if you're hot, he's going to find you and he's going to love it. You know, he's going to love picking apart the defense like that. I guess, you know, if you want to look at his need to balance it a little bit more, yeah, he forces shots. But in fairness to him, none of these guys are all-stars. All of these guys have track records of being highly inconsistent players. So if he decides the best thing in the Mavs' interest at the time is for him to do what he did quite frequently in these games that Donnie's alluding to, then I have no problem with it. You know, he's a better player.
Gavin, I know you're a big Trailblazers fan. They just fired their head coach, Terry Stotts, who in some ways was, you know, Rick's
you guys want Rick Carlisle up there in Portland?
Would you take Rick Carlisle in Portland right now to lead Damian and C.J. McCollum?
Well, Damian ain't gonna be taking half-court shots.
Yeah, that'd be a dream come true for Trailblazers fans. Of course, for me personally, it'd be heartbreaking to see him leave the Mavericks. You know, to me, your prospects of having a stable organization and your ability to retain Luka, you know, your probabilities on that drop significantly.
I'm gonna ask a question that's relating to the Cowboys though. But why would it be different from the Jason Garrett situation for Rick Carlisle? Were they both 10 years and didn't win anything? Oh, because Rick got one ring?
Yeah, one ring.
So Garrett didn't.
Garrett didn't.
So is it a curse of Dallas? Why does this keep happening with the teams here? The 10-year nothing.
I think Rick arrived with a resume, you know, of success.
Okay.
You know, and you know, like I said earlier, this team, it didn't tank for a long time after the 2011 season. They tried to rebuild it around Dirk, and I think they were trying to justify blowing that team up. A lot of weird stuff was happening. You know, there's a blueprint to rebuild, and they liked to pretend that didn't apply to them for a while. And then they finally decided to tank, and you know, a couple years you get Luka, but you have this horrible team now from never really committing long-term resources, never finding the right free agents while you're going along. And you know, now it's a team that's trying to come out of, you know, what was a team built to lose and stall for time for a while. And, you know, unfortunately, there's not a lot of high-quality players around. And the few opportunities they've had since drafting Luka and putting them back in a playoff cycle, they failed.
Now,
go ahead.
If you had another basketball, I was getting ready to get to his.
I just had a comment real quick.
Go ahead.
I like how we all of a sudden flipped the switch and started demanding championships and started demanding this team has success because – hell, just a year and a half ago, we were keep powder dry. We were talking, you know, we had Monte Ellis on the team, Dennis Smith Jr. on the team, all this crap before Porzingis got here, and all of a sudden now we're here in 2021, and we're like, you supposed to have beat the Clippers because, you know, a team with 2 superstars on it. You're supposed to break down being in the Western Conference Finals. I like how we just quickly start watching the Mavericks through Cowboys glasses. And all of a sudden now we're expecting, you know, pretty much dominance from a team that we're just like, hey, hell, just a year and a half ago, we were saying, you know what, let's go out here and see what Yogi Ferrell can do. Let's go out here and see what these certain cats can do. And then, like, I just like now where we are right now. DFW kind of pull back the reins a little bit and let this team mature on its own.
Yeah, but is that because they're looking at the potential? Because the potential is there. I mean, the craziest thing to me is that why is it? Can somebody explain to me why they played better on the road than at home? Why?
That's
in the playoff series.
That's just a basketball and a flow thing. I mean, you've never seen a series like this probably in the last 25 years. So, I mean, this was a pretty rare series.
Hold on. Let's get to the meat and potatoes though. While we got you here, I need to get rich, and I hear you got the recipe for how to get rich with the crypto video that you are putting out these days. Can you talk to the people on Twitter and Facebook about your crypto YouTube stuff that you have going on? And I'm very interested, and I'm gonna have to come over there and get a lesson from you directly about how to get rich.
Yeah, you can check out the channel GD Crypto on YouTube. We do the crypto daily news for about 12 minutes every day, 12, 15 minutes, give you the latest headlines and analysis of what's going on with the markets. And, we try to do like a sports center twist on crypto news.
Yeah.
So it's fun. But yeah, I think it's an exciting opportunity for investing and trying to create, life-changing wealth.
So, Gavin, what got you all in the crypto game? How long have you been in it?
I first bought cryptocurrencies in 2017.
Oh, wow.
At that time, it was at the top of the market. Like when the top of the market hits and all the news stations are talking about it and all the, radio stations are talking about, that's usually a time, as I've learned, that it's at its high. So a lot of people come in and they're like, oh, this is cool, man. A lot of people are making a lot of money right now. I want in. And then they buy, and then, the market, starts to go back down to normal levels. So that's where I bought in 2017. And so I stepped away from it, but then it got hot again in January and I checked my accounts and Bitcoin was climbing and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I started playing with it. I caught the bug. So shortly thereafter, I was like, well, let's fire up this YouTube channel and start talking about it, doing news and join the community. And I'm having a lot of fun with it.
So are you just, the YouTube channel is dedicated just to that?
Yeah, it's just cryptocurrency. Yeah.
What are you just talking about Bitcoin or are we talking about all the cryptos, including
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano.
Doggy or
Doggy.
Doge? Is it Doge or Dog? What is it?
It's Doge.
Doge.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been calling it Doggy Coin for.
Oh my
for
God!
All right. It happens. A lot of people have. Yeah, a lot of people do.
Y'all would have kicked him out at that
Doge,
convention. You was just at. He'd have came in here and said some damn dog coin.
It's definitely Doge.
Now, okay, listen. It has a picture of a damn dog as their thing. I just assumed doggy. It's whatever. Anyway, I'm glad you're doing this because
Somehow the evil side.
we need smart people to get out there and get investing because it's fun. Actually, I'm getting in the investing game. AMC's making me a bit of a profit right now. I know your shotgun partner, Mr. Jeff Kavanaugh. He was big into Bitcoin too at the very beginning. Was he first and then you kind of tagged along, or is he still in the game? Is he still doing the Bitcoin?
I don't think so. I think he's out. I think he got paper hands.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people it happens. A lot of people in sports are into it though. Tom Brady, Mark Cuban, tons of athletes are into it, talking about it. So, it's all the rage. And right now it's only like 1% of the investments worldwide are in cryptocurrencies, and if it is the future of digital infrastructure and the internet and all that of the future, it stands to reason that the total market of cryptocurrency will grow beyond 1% in the future.
Can you, and now on your YouTube page, I don't want to help, I don't want to take your time too much here, but will you explain exactly what a Bitcoin is? Because I've been trying to figure it out and reading it up on it, and I still don't exactly understand what it is.
Yeah, it's your blockchain technology. There's some pretty interesting videos online, that explain it with illustrations and stuff. But
I do need pictures. I'm that.
Yeah, lots of it, man. Actually, the current chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, taught a course at MIT like 3 years ago on blockchain. This is a guy that's going to dictate governmental policy in the present and the future. And it's available on YouTube, like on MIT's open course page. And it's like 25 90-minute lectures. It's an incredible education on what blockchain is and how it could, change the financial future.
Well, we all need that. Now, my final question to you: what do you think of Elon Musk and the way Bitcoin and Dogcoin or Dogecoin going on?
It's Dogecoin.
Whatever, what are your takes on how he's handling it? Because I found it weird that just because of his appearance on Saturday Night Live, that determined what the market was. So, what's going on there? Why is it so affected by Elon Musk and what he says?
I don't know, but the Bitcoin world hates him. It's crazy how he went from being the prince of Bitcoin. Everybody loved him. him buying had driven the price way up just a couple of months ago, and now it's like his name is mud. He is public enemy number one.
Like
At Bitcoin 2021, this guy Max Kaiser gets on stage and he's like, "F Elon, F Elon," and the crowd's like, "Yeah, F Elon!" Like the entire Bitcoin world hates Elon Musk right now.
Is he the Donald Trump of Bitcoin?
I don't even worse because Donald Trump has his fans.
Okay, yeah.
Elon Musk has no fans left.
Oh wow.
He alienated all of them.
Anonymous is after him now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So let's say a guy like me wanted to put some money in Spalding or something like that. How would I go about going that route in the
Spalding?
Yeah, something
Spalding.
Investing in something.
The basketball the ball company?
Yeah, do they have some stock? I could buy some stock in them or
I
something.
think you could research it. I think with your E-Trade app or something.
Yeah,
like that.
how do I get started? Let me backpacks or something, skateboards, something like that.
So you have your regular stock, apps like E-Trade and stuff like that. Then you have your crypto apps, like Base and whatnot. So,
do you believe it? Do you know anything about NFTs, and are you into it?
I have not invested in NFTs,
Okay.
the non-fungible tokens. I kind of understand, what they're doing, but I just don't see how it really actually is scarce or rare. So I don't know. I don't know how it's.
Yeah, I don't really know either. I just know that I follow Gary Vee and he was really into it, but it's really about like artists or like, radio people if you want to put out a piece of content. And I don't know, so I'm not saying this is fact, but somehow like so it's a lot of artists are like releasing albums with it, and then when it's sold, and every time it's sold, you make money. I don't know, so I was just curious if you knew anything about that.
All I know from that was Charlie Bit My Finger. The video on YouTube was sold on auction for NFT as an NFT, and now you can't watch it on YouTube anymore because somebody bought it.
Yeah.
It's good use of it. I think for albums and some things like that, but I don't know how it's getting its value as a collectible, and I don't know if it's going to be. It seems like they're worth so much right now. Like seriously, if NFTs were a couple, $2-3, sure, I'd have a collection if there's a place to display them. Hey, here's my cool NFT art, right? But I can't imagine spending multiple hundreds or multiple thousands of dollars on pieces of art. So I think it has to be way inflated because. If those are worth that, then what's to stop the artist from just making more? Like, how did those get worth so much money? So I think, is it price discovery? Does that have to occur with the NFTs? Like, we got to find out what this stuff is really worth before I'm going to start collecting it. There's much better investments, I think, than speculating on the randomness of how much these things are going to be worth in the future.
Well, GD, we want to thank you for joining us here tonight, and a big congratulations to you. You have another daughter being born. Is that September, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Walt.
Yes. September seems to be the day. And could you tell the people one more time where they can find your work at? The
crypto work, GD Crypto on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, GD Crypto on YouTube, of course, 105 through the fan, 2 to 7 every afternoon with Jeff Kavanaugh, Brian Broaddus, Lucius Alexander.
And that's holding the Gators down, right?
He does, indeed.
You don't know that because you don't Tolo anymore.
I made a career.
Hey, Gavin, thanks. This has been so much for us to have you on, man. You're welcome back anytime you want to come promote anything. You have a place to do it at.
It's an honor, Walt. Thanks for having me. Congrats on all your success, EA. Oh, Tobosh, good to see you, buddy.
Same.
We suck, but we'll be okay.
Thank you, Gavin.
Hey, thanks, Gavin.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the big trade that happened in the NFL. Some people are excited in the room about it, like it really means anything, but it doesn't.
I just want to prove to you about hate on this
What are you
person.
going to prove to him?
I'm not. I really don't know what he's going to prove.
His hate on this certain player and that he's still a viable player in this league.
Doesn't eat when he comes to Dub City. Let's take a break. When we take a break, let's talk about Julio Jones right here next on DallasOnAir.com.
finds Marjanovic. Doncic, little fake, goes up and under, bank shot, he gets the first bucket. Inside to Morris. Shot clock down to 8. Morris flips it out to George. Good open look for 3 for Paul George, knocks it down.
Great the other night. They've got to continue to attack and be ready to stick to 3, just like Hardaway did.
George guarded by Finney-Smith. Reggie Jackson as they swing the ball. Reggie Jackson knocks down another. The chess match that is an NBA playoff series. Doncic. Fallback shot is good. Exploded out of the Dayton Game 5. Leonard lost it. Ball tipped away by Finney-Smith. Doncic. Hardaway, three-pointer. Soon, good ball movement here. Back in the zone for Dallas. 5 on the 24. Marcus Morris connects.
No movement to try to expose Marjanovic.
Porzingis for 3. Except for one game, they've been sensational shooting the ball from long distances. Leonard draws the foul on Marjanovic. Marjanovic already with 4 points and 3 rebounds. Also has an assist. Doncic trying to draw some contact, doesn't get the call.
If you deck me and get a flagrant 2, they should be.
Reggie Jackson from way downtown.
Absolutely spectacular for Rick Carlisle and this Mavericks team.
Leonard to George. George to finish. Doncic, not Morris, excuse me. Morris guarding him. Turnaround shot is good. Look at Doncic. George, nice Euro step, left-handed off the glass. That's a pretty... Brunson, long three-pointer. Got it! Terrence Mann harassing him as they go up the floor. Hardaway on the drive. Layup, bank shot is good. Leonard, jump shot, hand in his face. He drills it back-to-back.
Clippers basket.
Jackson picks it up. The Clippers win it. Leonard connects on a 3. Batum to Jackson, 5 to shoot. Reggie Jackson. Not that time. Leonard throws down the follow. In the lead. Corley Stein. Porzingis with the flush. Teams have cooled off after the hot starts. Pass inside to Leonard. Leonard leans in and banks it home.
Increase their intensity defensively, force the Mavs into turnovers, and giving themselves a chance.
Leonard flips it up and in. Kawhi Leonard.
And or get on the offensive board.
Jackson drives, goes right to the goal, lays it up and in. Doncic floats it up. They're going right to Marjanovic, taking advantage of that
Height of a single. They set a staggered pick and roll.
turnover. Finney-Smith back to Porzingis, and Dallas regains the lead.
Reggie Jackson, we've seen moving around pretty cleanly in this third quarter. He did get treatment during halftime, but as you can see, he's just fine now, Mike.
Thank you, Rachel. Marjanovic thought about it. Tim Hardaway goes to the rim, off the glass. Doncic guarded by Reggie Jackson. Hardaway Jr. again, puts it in.
Rid of the basketball, allowing Hardaway to be a playmaker.
7 straight points for Hardaway. Reggie Jackson hesitated and then connects.
But it's starting with Luka again, taking the pick and roll double team. And the Clippers, the lineup that they have on the floor, they have the ability. My goodness.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard at switch. Leonard pass deflected by Porzingis and stolen. Here comes Doncic. Doncic the drive and the finish. Finney-Smith guarding Kawhi Leonard. Keeps jabbing at him with that right arm. Kawhi Leonard for 3. It's good. Kawhi Leonard.
The intensity, the Clippers defensively right now, they're getting after it.
Leonard drills.
Fans.
Doncic kicks it out. Finney-Smith again. Leonard throws it away. Stolen by Doncic. Doncic alley-oop. Finney-Smith inside. Carlisle slide for the slam. George back to Kennard. Kennard uses his offhand, throws it up and in. Here's George. George brings it back out, fires away. It's good. With his 6th rebound. Hardaway. It's good. Tim Hardaway.
And that's great denial by Doncic. Leonard.
We're in the house now for sure. Check this out. I'm tired of playing games. I want to see bad shorty. I'm trade it off.
I'm wondering why this guy's tapping me on my shoulder talking. What are you doing?
It's good. What is it?
You said, what is this? Oh my God. I want to tell Kat.